never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Oh, will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Gameday from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live streaming show here to preview tonight's game against the Detroit Pistons after a week absentee from us lot. Great to have everyone back. First of all, Sam Aquara in new digs with new Wi-Fi. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing well. You're sounding sharp. You're looking sharp. This is what we love to see. John Jablonka, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks.
Great stuff. And Ollie Rahimi, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, very well, mate. Thank you.
Good. Well, guys, we had a week off. Lots of things going on. As I said, people work stuff, uni stuff, moving house stuff, all sorts of real life stuff. So we put the skids on it whilst we finished off our West Coast trip. But then we've come back on a bit of a vengeance. 4 games on the trot, winning before it all came to a halt against Washington last time out. So before we come on to tonight's game, let's just reflect back on the last game's defeat to Washington. The first game this year so far this season that I've missed. I was out partying, having a good time. So I missed the whole game, but I did watch back only highlights. So I'm sort of relying on you guys a little bit. But a disappointing defeat, a sort of an irritating defeat. I'll come on to that in a second. But one thing that sort of strikes me at the moment, Sam, we keep letting these tight games go, don't we? When we win, we're winning pretty big. And despite the Nuggets game, which was the only game that I think we've lost and probably deserved to lose, every other defeat so far this season has been tight and we're not seeing them over the line. Is that concerning?
Yeah, I don't think that was a concerning loss. I just put it to the schedule. I think we played Washington prior to playing that game. So it was like not really a back-to-back, but a second game we played them in a row. So yeah, there was bound to be a bit of scheming and strategizing. But yeah, we had a good lead and we just gave that up. I don't want to say that characterizes this team because we've seen situations like in the Pelicans game where we came back from a couple points back in the first quarter. I'd say it's an anomaly, but hopefully we get a bounce back win today and see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Always a bit interesting when you have the team on a back-to-back, if you like, as in same team playing twice. Ollie, do you sort of agree with that? Do you think that there's adjustments made, scheming made, or do you think there is a bit of an underlying issue here? Do you think that this is something that could be a concern? Because, as I said, when we're winning big, and we're winning against good teams big. But these tight, nitty-gritty games, they're coming back to bite us a bit.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I think, Dan, you said it was just irritating. I think that pretty much sums it up really well. I think if you'd have offered a 1-on-1 split before we were with the Washington series, then that probably would have been all right. But yeah, I think maybe there are things that just need to be ironed out. I think Jimmy said after the game that the guys just needed to sort of grow up a little bit and realize that they need to be winning these games, and he was right. And I think over the course of the season, hopefully that will sort of solve itself out. It is a relatively young team in terms of playing together as well. So yeah, hopefully it will iron out and we'll sort of regress back to the means and hopefully eradicate those games that we should be winning.
Yes, that's it. I mean, it's no time to panic. Obviously, it's not, as you said. I think we would have all maybe have taken that 1-1 split against the Washington team that are surprising quite a few people. They're playing very well, so it's by no means a disgrace to go to their arena and lose. But something that's sort of been all over the timeline a little bit, John, is what we're sort of doing is sort of last possessions, if you like, these clutch situations where the ball is ending up mainly in Jimmy's hands, who, as we know, Jimmy's shooting ability is maybe not what it once was. We're sort of relying on him to maybe get that drive to the basket and pick up some contacts and get to the line. Do you think there's an issue here that maybe not so much Kyle, because, again, he's in a bit of a shooting stunt, but Mr. Fourth Quarter, as we call him, Tyler Herro, yes, the inexperience is there. And yes, I suppose you would always touch on Jimmy to to make the right decision and to trust him to see something over the line here for us when we're expecting a win. But Tyler's confidence, Tyler's playing extremely well here. He's showing ability beyond his years maybe so far. Is there an argument here to say, put the ball in Tyler's hands, see what he can do?
Oh, I don't think so. I still would rather have Jimmy. Except I don't like his shot selection sometimes. I just said in the chat, he's taken way too many threes over the past his time in Miami. He's taken like over 30 and only made 6. But the reason why I would like to have it in his hands is he has an 86% free throw rate in a clutch situation, so he gets to the line. And he would just collapse the defense whenever he drives. Then he can just kick it out to Tyler, to PJ. I think you just trust Jimmy with whatever he needs to do, and he will make the right play because he's not selfish. He won't be taking too many of those step back jumpers. So the ball would still find its way into Hero's hands or Lowry's.
Yeah, that's a good point. I sort of want to get all your opinion on that, really, because I think that's an interesting one. Sam, what do you think on that? Do you think that, like John says, a lot of the time, maybe teams know what he's going to do. They're going to know that he's going to expect to drive and maybe get that contact, which means they're either going to hit the body and maybe get him to the line, or they're going to leave him alone, which gives him the ability to just make the basket. Or, as John said, it's going to get kicked out to maybe PJ or Tyler anyway. So, are you in agreement with this, or would you rather see, let's have some balls, let's throw it out to Tyler and let's just see this young guy with confidence go and do his thing and try and get a game winner?
I actually go in a different direction. Yes, I'd like to see the ball in Jimmy Butler's hands because he's done it time after time. He's taken us to that promised land in terms of winning games. But I'd like to see Kyle Lowry involved a bit more. I think one of the biggest things we were happy about getting him in the offseason is the fact that him having the ball in his hands puts a lot of pressure off Jimmy, Bam, and kind of frees up Duncan Robinson. So I'd like to see him kind of eased into those last minutes. But at the moment, I don't really think that's much of an issue. I feel that he is quite a clutch team. I mean, we've given away a couple fourth quarter leads, but I think we can still hold our own. It's just a matter of just incorporating the new guys in, and we're like we're less than a quarter into the new season. We've got new people on, and we're still finding a way around it. But yeah, I'd like to see a bit more of Kyle Lowry in the final plays. Yeah,
okay. Ollie, you were sort of nodding along there when he said Kyle Lowry. So your thoughts along the same lines, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Sam, really. I think Kyle, over the course of his career, he's got so much experience and he's won a championship being one of the main guys. I would like to see it sort of split maybe a little bit more. Obviously, Jimmy has got such a good record of coming up clutch and stuff. But yeah, I'm with Sam. I'd like to see Kyle involved in that part of the game a little bit more. And I think regarding Tyler, I think over time it will come to him being the go-to guy in the clutch situations because he's shown that he doesn't fear anything, he doesn't fear any shot, and he has confidence in his own ability to make those difficult shots in the difficult moments, and he'll do it time and time again. So I think down the line it will go towards Tyler. But for now, yeah, I think Jimmy and Kyle, I think that balance, I'd be happy with whatever result comes from those two.
Yeah, okay, interesting stuff. Yeah, good to get your opinion on that. So tonight we face the Detroit Pistons, who are, as we say at the moment, 4-12, I think, at the moment. So pretty much where we expect them to be. But maybe a little bit concerning, John, is the injury report currently has Bam, PJ Tucker, and Robinson all as questionable. You'd like to think that maybe at least one of those will make it. I'm not so sure about Robinson, but maybe we could see Bam in. But who knows at this moment in time? They're all questionable for a reason. That's therefore 3 starters potentially out. So you would probably think, okay, Bam for Dedmon, or Dedmon for Bam, rather. Quite straightforward. You would think Hero in for Robinson. Quite straightforward. But with no Markieff Morris, he's still out injured. Don't worry, he deserved it, everyone. Where do we have the number 4? Who do we put in there if we have no PJ?
I would say Martin, maybe. I'd go with Martin. He's been showing that he's capable of giving those kind of minutes. Because then, you don't really have anyone else. You don't want to stick KZ in. You don't want to stick UD in straight away. You may get some minutes and Oma as well, but I don't think you'd start them. So I think Martin will be the go.
I think you're right. Sam, you've unmuted, so you want to say something. I think you're right. It is probably Martin, but is this because you want UD in, Sam?
No, well, mine was in response to KZ. I mean, if there's a game to get KZ some reps, it's this game because the Pistons aren't a good team, if we're being honest.
Neither were the Thunder, and I think he was still on -16.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. You can't put him in games like the Wizards games, but when we got this game against the Pistons, where they're bottom 5 in defensive rating, bottom 5 in offensive rating, worst in the league in rebounding, and they're going to be missing their best rebounder because of the suspension. I don't see a better opportunity for KZ to get some reps up.
I love that. And do you know what? When you said it, you say, if there's a game to put it in, it's against the bloody Detroit Pistons when they're, already tanking. And I'm doing this. Yeah, that's a good point. Ollie's doing this, and John's doing this. So we got a complete split opinion. But Sam, I think that is a good point. I think if there is a game, there could be flashes that we could see KZ do something to at least get through those opening minutes and then maybe see Caleb come in. But I still don't think it'll happen. I think you're probably right. It's probably going to be Caleb. But we'll see. I mean, as I said, 3 starters out against any NBA team is going to be tough. Ollie, Sam did pinpoint a lot of things that I had in my notes as there as well. Detroit, 29th in field goal percentage, 30th in 3-point field goal percentage, 30th in rebounding, 28th in assists, 29th in shooting percentage, 28th in offensive rating. This is a crap team. Despite those potential injuries, there shouldn't be any issues here, should there? No Kelly Olynyk either, no Killian Hayes, no Stewart, who we'll come on to in a second. This is the ultimate banana skin or not?
Yeah, I think so. It's just one of those games that the Heat, I think if they were full strength, if Bam, PJ and Duncan are playing, I think it'll be okay. But yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I think it's just a banana skin, and it's the type of game that the Heat historically haven't won when they really should be winning. I'm a big fan of Cade Cunningham. I think he's a brilliant player, and he's going to be really quite amazing in the few years coming. Obviously, Isaiah Stewart and Kelly Olynyk are big misses for them. And yeah, on paper, it looks like it should be an easy Heat win. But in my eyes, these are always the games that I'm the most nervous about because it's ones that the Heat should be winning comfortably. And it seems like they always drop these ones. So I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm also leaning on the side of caution a little bit.
Fair enough. John, did you have something to say there? Sorry.
No.
Oh, sorry.
I still think that they're just going to win it.
Yeah. See, the thing that annoyed me most about that Washington defeat is it was a real sort of momentum sort of burner, wasn't it? 4 in a row. We was picking up well. It was a game we should have won, really. The schedule after tonight, we've got the Timberwolves on a back-to-back. So again, you'd like to think that's a W, but back-to-back's never easy, as we know. Then we've got a couple of difficult ones. I think we've got the Ball. I think the Cavs, then the Bulls, then the Nuggets. So tonight really feels like it's got to be a win, doesn't it, Sam? Because if you suddenly take back-to-back defeats and then you go over to Minnesota on a second night of a back-to-back when they're fresh, you don't really want to go into a tougher schedule with 3 defeats potentially behind you. So got to take care of business tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, but at the same time, I prioritize resting certain players if they need to be rested. Because, like you mentioned, it's going to be the next few games are quite tough. And the Timberwolves just beat the Jazz, didn't they?
Exactly.
And it's on a back-to-back. So, yeah, I think we should take as much time to rest if we can. Because as much as people don't like to give us that credit, we've got a deep roster. I mean, I don't care if UD's getting hella minutes, if KZ's getting hella minutes. We've got the roster to do it. And I'm not saying it's a throwaway game, but it could still be a testy game with our 3 stars not playing tonight.
John, what do you think? Because tonight, if those injuries are, those questionables end up being outs, these are the sort of games that maybe Spo would have liked to have rested Kyle, or not maybe resting, but giving him some real limited minutes. If they're out, he's not going to be able to do that. In fact, you're going to be relying on Kyle to play heavy minutes along with Tyler. Is that a concern? Because we've spoke many times about the backup point guard position is perhaps our most light area we're light on. This is, as I said, the sort of game perhaps we might have even seen him sit for but that's not going to happen if these questionables are out, is it?
Yeah, and that's just the luck we have with the injuries. You'd wish that we could have a full strength team, so then we could rest our top guys. But apart from the ankle injury Larry had, I don't think he had any other issues. So I don't think one more game before potentially I have a rest against the Timberwolves would be that much of a difference for him. They're still NBA players, and I don't think they need to be rested that much, especially if they don't have injury concerns like Bam with his tendinitis.
Yeah.
So I'm not that much worried about Kyle Lowry.
Good stuff. Okay, there's an interesting stat that I'm about to bring up. If I can get this graphic up, you might have seen this. You probably have seen this, where at the quarter by quarter breakdown in net rating, and it brought up. Have I got it? Oh, hang on. Hide. Wrong area. It brought up a really interesting bit because let's see if it's this one. Yeah, here we go. Oh, it's not come up very well because of its how it's templated. But the main point I wanted to bring up with this is breakdown by quarter net rating. As you can see, the Heat do well across the board, really, but most importantly in the third quarter, we are second best in that in the entire league there. But quite hysterically, our opponents tonight, Detroit Pistons, are minus 25.3. So we've got they're the worst in the third quarter, whereas we come out second best. So if there ever was an area to gain some advantage here, Ollie, it's straight after the break, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Another thing that historically the Heat haven't been great at, like we've always had, the third quarter, which has been a bane of Heat fans for many years, I think. But it's looking better this year. And like you said, the Pistons aren't necessarily great coming out halftime. So it's really important to just kill them, like use that killer mentality, take the opportunity, really use it. Obviously, it's a difficult place to go as well. They play tough basketball there. Obviously, they're not doing great this season, but there's always potential. And even with three main guys out, I think, third quarter come out strong. Same in the first quarter as well. We're second best in the league in the first quarter. So there seems to be a real energy and real, impetus on starting the game and the second half with some real, firepower and stuff. So, hopefully we can keep that going tonight and maintain any runs that might come from them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the key here. I mean, we're a better team. Let's have it right. We're a better team throughout, all the way through the team, right through the core. But if anything, there's a chance to seize there. It's that quite incredible stat. So we'll see what happens. Before we let you go with some predictions, final thing, which was obviously involving the Detroit Pistons, that's been quite massive over the last few days, was Isaiah Stewart's brawl with the King LeBron James. First of all, I want to get your opinion, Sam, on the suspensions, because LeBron, again, like we've had our say on Nikola Jokic's pathetic suspension term of just one game, LeBron James got the same. People will say that's the standard procedure. Strike an opponent, you're suspended for a game. For me, it's lenient in any way, shape or form. If you strike a player, you should get more than the game, in my opinion. There was, in my opinion, there was no sort of evidence that this was accidental. It looked like it was very much meant. Stewart's got himself a 2-game suspension. And again, I think that's fair because no matter what's happened, you can't react the way you reacted. It was ridiculous. What do you make of the whole thing? Do you think the suspension is valid, or do you think that, again, the NBA has protected its star?
I see both sides of the argument. The NBA definitely protected LeBron James because you shouldn't get away with punching someone that blatantly when the ball's already gone through the hoops and trying to act like you know nothing about it. So, I mean, historically, that usually warrants a 1-game suspension. And for that reason, I'd say it'd be fair to have given Isaiah Stewart a 1-game suspension, or at least giving LeBron a 2-game suspension, just to make it a bit fair. But Isaiah Stewart he was out of control. And from the NBA point of view, it's just a bad look. So I can't blame them.
I think it's difficult to disagree with that, isn't it? No matter how wronged you may feel, John, you can't be making several attempts to charge across the court to get to a player. That sort of reaction can't be seen to be anything other than a multi-game suspension, which is what he picked up. So do you agree with that? And same sort of question really with LeBron's suspension. Do you think that there should be a precedent there to maybe extend this, or do you think that it's the standard procedure and he got what he was given?
Yeah, it looks like it simply is, and especially with LeBron, you can't. They won't suspend LeBron like that for too much. And Isaiah Stewart's was unnecessary. But I also felt more just hyping up the crowd, because I think he was walking away, and then it just started again and again. And then just maybe the crowd got him going. Him bleeding got him going as well.
Yeah.
But, what's funny, I was going to mention how the Nuggets fans saying how Morris started it, so that meant that what Jokic did was good, that he should have retaliated like that. But we don't see this with this situation. It was clear that Bron intentionally smacked him, but then it's all Isaiah Stewart's fault. So that's the stupid point.
Yeah, definitely. It's brought up some debate, Ollie, with again how the timeline or how Heat fans sort of see LeBron James, because it was before my era. I know all about it. I've gone back, watched it many times, but I wasn't a fan at that point. I've only been a fan for 6 years. I missed all the glory days. There's lots of people that will say that you got to appreciate greatness. We probably saw the most dominant LeBron James we have ever seen whilst he was in Miami, and he delivered us 2 titles, obviously with the help of Dwayne and Chris Bosh. But there are others that were just that will not forgive him for sort of leaving the Heat high and dry, falling out with Riley or whatever it may have been. And this should have been multiple titles. It should have been a real period of dominance that we didn't see because he went back. How do you see it?
I'm kind of neutral, to be honest. Like, when he was here, like you said, we were dominant, and that was him in his prime. I think he was 24 to 27 or something like that when he was here. I could be wrong. Maybe 25 to 29 or something like that. Yeah, he was in his prime, and we should have won 4. Obviously, we got to the finals 4 times in a row. I think to only have won 2 out of 4 is probably disappointing looking back on it, considering the team that we had compared to the other teams around the league. But I don't have any hard feelings towards him, and I'm not especially fond of him. He's a brilliant player, one of the greatest of all time, no doubt about that. One of the greatest periods of play that we have ever seen as Heat fans and as a Heat organization. But yeah, I don't blame him for going back to Cleveland, trying to win a title with them, which he obviously did. And again, I was happy for him when he did that, because that's what he wanted from the start, and he sort of fulfilled that destiny, if you will, to do that for them. So no, there's no hard feelings. He's a brilliant player, always has been since he started, and his legacy won't change. But I can understand why the Heat fan opinion is divided.
Yeah, I think that's nicely summed up, and I sort of sit on the same thing, because it's very difficult for me to sort of talk about it, because I wasn't a fan at that point. I wasn't following basketball at that point, so it was I can only look back at what he did, what he delivered. But it's always interesting when anything like this gets brought up, and even when I polled this and it got over 100 odd votes, and even that I had do you love him? Do you not hate, but not like him, or do you sit somewhere in the middle? And the whole thing was completely split, which just shows that that's what the fan base feels on him. So interesting things, but we'll see what happens. But tonight, obviously Stuart won't be playing because of that, serving the first game of his suspension. Let's go around and get some predictions for tonight then. Sam, I'll start with you. Who's winning and by how many?
Heat win by 6.
Heat by 6. Okay, conservative, like it. John?
Heat by 12.
Heat by 12. Okay, good stuff. And Ollie?
Going to contradict myself a bit. I think Heat by 15.
Love it. Yeah, a real potential banana skin. These are the sort of games be like, right, yeah, Heat by 15. Yeah, man.
I have confidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be relatively confident. I think we'll get off to a good start. They won't claw it back. The stats don't lie. You have to look at the stats as well. Second best third quarter team against heavily the worst third quarter team. So by the time we get into fourth quarter, we should be seeing plenty of UD minutes with KZ and others. So we'll say I reckon it'll be a Heat by 12. I'm going to follow you, John. Heat by 12 win. So we're across the board again. Great stuff. Great to be back, guys. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back again tomorrow, hopefully, to preview the Minnesota game. Hopefully, talking about a nice big win from tonight. Midnight tip tonight, which is quite pleasing as well. Not too bad. Follow us, of course, at the Miami Heat UK for in-game comms. And whilst you're here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Miami Heat UK TV. Until tomorrow, guys. See you soon. Enjoy the game.